We'll take you out with the Homeless Outreach Team.
Save the date for the State of the City address.
And we'll tell you where some new free little libraries have popped up.
All that and more coming up next on Tacoma Report.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Tacoma Report. I'm Angie Foster.
And I'm Laura Proctor. The City of Tacoma implemented a homeless outreach team in 2017 to address the impacts of homelessness in our community. Tacoma Report's Jason Flute brings us more about how this team is making a difference.
The Homeless Outreach Team is a task force of Tacoma Police Department officers, mental health specialists, and outreach workers who work in concert to address the impacts of homelessness to people living in and around encampments.
A lot of them are aware of the services that are available, but the engagement and consistency is key. So sometimes it'll take 1 to 10 times for our staff to go out and do outreach so that they have trust with them. So we had one individual, it was the 11th time that someone came out and they finally started feeling comfortable to share their story and to what their barriers were. We identified they were a veteran and were able to connect them to the supported veteran services to get them housed.
Tacoma Police Department and the city's Neighborhood and Community Services Department jointly resource the team and help connect people experiencing homelessness with shelter options, programs, and services.
The HOT team primarily focuses in the downtown business district. So our community liaison officers help us. They're another partner out in the districts where they'll go out and they'll contact homeless camps if they're small ones, and then they'll refer them to us if it's people that need assistance from the HOT team. But I think overall, it's made a difference. I think it starts from the very top, from city management. They're very supportive of what we do. The council is very supportive. Our chiefs are very supportive of this unit. I think if you were to have gone around a couple years ago with a camera, you would have seen encampments all over the place that were just right next to the main roads. You won't see that so much anymore. They do pop up, but pretty much now it's 1s, 2s, and 3s, and we'll reach out and we'll try and handle it at that level.
For more information about the city's efforts to address homelessness, visit cityoftacoma.org/homelessness. For Tacoma Report, I'm Jason Flute.
To report an encampment, call the city at 311 or go online to the Tacoma First webpage. If you are experiencing an emergency or feel threatened, always call 911. And as a reminder, residents should never clean up an encampment on public or private property that they don't own.
The city recently announced the 2019 Community Cleanup Schedule. This year, the city will partner with 15 community groups to offer garbage, recycling, and in many locations, paper shredding services to residents who live in single-family homes, duplexes, and triplexes. To find out when a cleanup day will be in your neighborhood, visit them online. The congested ports of Southern California have helped Tacoma land a major new business at the Port of Tacoma and a significant new customer for municipally owned Tacoma Rail. Aeneas Wilhelmsen will be importing up to 50,000 new Nissan vehicles a year for the Midwest and Western markets. The first ships arrived a few weeks ago, and Tacoma Rail will be handling about 90% of those vehicles to connect train loads with the national railroads. It's Tacoma Rail's largest new customer in about 6 years.
Oh, it's a great opportunity. Significant business impact for us is for short-term and long-term, expecting to grow as each year. It's huge for the whole port in the Tacoma area that Aeneas Wilhelmsen decided to use Tacoma as their port for Nissan, and we're excited to have them.
Ships will be offloaded on the Blair Waterway and prepped for transport on 90 acres that used to be the Kaiser aluminum plant location. Tacoma Rail is a short-line railroad operated by Tacoma Public Utilities. It serves industrial customers around the port, Frederickson, and South Tacoma.
Recycling markets underwent a massive change in 2018 when China, the world's largest buyer of recycled material, announced that it was increasing its standards and reducing the amount of material it would purchase. That global change means an impact for Tacoma recycling too.
It's more expensive now. The cost to recycle materials has gone up because We've had to find new markets in different countries, and so the shipping costs and the marketing costs have gone up. And also there's a higher emphasis now on the materials not being contaminated. We need to make sure that they're sorted properly and that they're clean. They're not contaminated with food materials or other kind of contaminants. It really is important that our customers take the time to make sure first that the materials that go in the recycle bin are the right materials, so make sure that they're allowed to go in the recycle bin, and make sure that they're clean and dry, so no food contamination or oil stains on pizza boxes. That's all contamination.
To be an all-star recycler, remember the basics: empty, clean, and dry. For more information about what is recyclable, visit Solid Waste online or call.
In collaboration with the city and other partners, the 98404 Eastside Little Libraries Project, a community-led effort, has brought 5 new little libraries to Tacoma's East Side. The project's little free libraries location are managed by individual stewards. Visitors may take a book or donate a book. Books may be shared with other little libraries or among family and friends, but are not to be resold. On occasion, locations may offer other treats for visitors, such as bookmarks, painted rocks, and school supplies. More information about this community-led effort is available by contacting Teresa Evans.
Whether you're a renter or a landlord, some changes have taken place.
After the break, we'll learn more about the new rental housing code. Stay with us. The new rental housing code is now in full effect. Here to talk about what that means for landlords and tenants is the city's Landlord Tenant Programs Coordinator, Chiquetta Elder. Welcome back to the show, Chiquetta.
Thank you, Angie.
It's always nice to have you with us. So for those that may not know, what is the rental housing code all about?
So the Tacoma's new rental housing code is Tacoma Municipal Code 1.95. And so what that is basically an expansion on the Washington State Residential Landlord Tenant Act. So it doesn't replace it. It just has different requirements for landlords and adds additional protections for tenants. So for instance, notices to terminate tenancy under state law is 20 for no cause. And in the city of Tacoma, it will now be 60 days. Another protection, that's a requirement for landlords, but a protection for tenants will be that if they're asked to look, if they have to find new housing, they can request in writing from the prospective landlord to pay their deposits in installments, which we're hoping will help a lot of people. So it's just basically an expansion on the Washington State Residential Landlord Tenant Act, but it's also a way for us to sustain housing in the city of Tacoma because the rental market is drastically changing.
Yeah, and that tenant protection piece is really vital. So I was reading about part of this code is about the relocation for those that maybe when the city has coded a building that's inhabitable or a tenant is faced with moving. Can you speak a little bit about that?
So there's actually 2 different parts to the code on relocation. The one that you're speaking about is already in state law. So if the city of Tacoma, for instance, were to deem a property uninhabitable for code violations under our Tacoma Building Code 2.01, a landlord is responsible to relocate their tenants in the amount of $2,000 or 3 times the monthly rent, whichever one is greater. However, under state law, that's a civil matter and there's no enforcement to it. So a lot of landlords don't adhere to it. So some tenants don't get that relocation fund. What we've done is we've added an enforcement mechanism. So if the landlord does not comply with that, there's a way for the city to enforce on them and make them pay penalties for not doing what they're supposed to do to relocate the tenants. Yeah. And then the other part of the relocation is if a property is being deemed, if a landlord is asking a tenant to move due to they're going to demolish the property, substantial rehabilitation, or they're going to change the use of the property, they would have to give the tenants a 120-day notice. But then also if there are any low-income tenants there who qualify, they would have to give them relocation funds, or the tenants could qualify for relocation funds, and that is actually a 50-50 split between the city and the landlord. So the city would pay $1,000, the landlord would pay $1,000, but that's only to low-income tenants. The first relocation requirement applies to any rental if you're a legal tenant, no matter what your income is, because that's under state law.
Yeah. So if our viewers want to find out more information about the rental housing code, what do they do?
They can go to the City of Tacoma's website. So it's www.cityoftacoma.org/rental housing code. If they have questions, they can also go to call 311 or 253-591-5000.
All right. Well, Dakota, you have such a fantastic team, and it's always a treat to have you here. So thank you for all that you guys are doing. It's awesome.
Thank you, and it's always a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Up next, we'll find out how to participate in the annual amendments to the One Tacoma Comprehensive Plan and Land Use Regulatory Code. Don't miss it.
The time has come to review the 2019 annual amendment to the One Tacoma Comprehensive Plan and Land Use Regulatory Code. This process is vital as the city considers additions and updates to the plan and the land use code to make sure they continue to effectively serve and guide the growth and development in Tacoma. The community is invited to a series of 5 listening sessions being held in mid-February. These sessions will give participants a chance to hear more about and give feedback on some of the proposed amendments. Meetings will be held in each of the council districts from 6 to 8 p.m. To view all of the event dates and locations, as well as a full listing of amendment reports, visit the city site.
Cold, dark, rainy nights might be a good time for binge watching TV, but for some people in Tacoma, it's a time to keep up with a healthy, active lifestyle. In our next story, Dave Gordon has some tips and advice from those dedicated runners who keep in step during the dark days of winter.
Rain, sleet, dark of night are all elements of a normal Northwest winter. But there are people focusing on a healthy lifestyle or just trying to make good on a New Year's resolution. They know there's more dedication to outdoor running than anyone can imagine.
I don't think it's great to run in the winter, but this time of year it's dark out most of the time. So if you work all day and you're gonna run, you're gonna end up running at night.
You can't let weather stop you. If you're gonna run, you gotta run when you can.
We all know about the dark days of winter. This means runners need to take extra precautions with low visibility. Rob Huff is with Tacoma Runners, an active running group in the city.
Drivers really aren't used to looking for runners in most cases. They just don't see you. They're looking for other cars or things that are going to hurt them.
Joggers may have to find the light of day to stay safe, while others take on the task with true Northwest technological tenacity.
And then this is just called like a blinker, so you can have it flashing or just have it on. So again, just kind of helps cars see you as you're going on the sidewalk.
Rob's basic advice for a good, safe run is to play it safe with common sense.
So don't step out in the street in front of a car expecting that they're going to yield the right of way, because they may not even see you. Pick a route that has some street lights on it, because you will be able to see a little bit better and cars might be able to see you a little bit better.
So feel free to ditch your treadmill and hit the road with a good, healthy Tacoma run. After all, the days are starting to get longer.
Any opportunity you can to make yourself more visible on public streets helps keep you safer.
For Tacoma Report, I'm Dave Gordon.
There's less than 2 months before spring is here again. If you're keeping up with that New Year's resolution on keeping active, ensure you stand out while running Tacoma with lights and high visibility running gear.
The Lunar New Year celebration, sponsored by the Asia Pacific Cultural Center, is February 9th at the Tacoma Dome from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. The theme this year is Hawaii. Admission is free, and there will be more than 90 booths showcasing culture, arts, food, and more. Visit the Asia Pacific Cultural Center website for details. The City Events and Recognitions Committee is now reviewing the City of Destiny Award nominations received. The City of Destiny Awards program honors Tacoma's most exceptional volunteers. For details about the program and the upcoming event, Go to cityoftacoma.org/cityofdestiny. You can also reach them by email or give them a call. In our final segment, we'll have a recap of the City of Tacoma's Martin Luther King Jr. event.
And get your calendars ready to mark the date of the 2019 State of the City Address. We'll be right back. Tacoma recently celebrated the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. at the Convention Center. The theme was We're Better Together, with University of Puget Sound President Isaiah Crawford serving as the keynote speaker.
I'm so very proud to be here with all of you and part of our collective effort to create opportunities for our young people, to help them see and embrace their inherent dignity and value, to search for truth and understanding, and to serve the needs of others.
Dr. Dolores Silas, the first African American woman to serve on Tacoma City Council and as a Tacoma Public Schools Administrator, was honored with the Lifetime Service Award. And Vanna Singh, founder of the Tacoma Healing Awareness Community, was honored with the Emerging Leader Community Service Award, a new award category that focuses on individuals who are 30 years of age or younger and have demonstrated a commitment to becoming a leader for a lifetime, following the generations prior who have given back to and lifted up their communities. Tacoma Mayor Victoria Woodards also presented a special tribute to Linda Burgess Duncan, the city's longtime American Sign Language interpreter who lost her battle to cancer last year.
Over the years, the Tacoma Area Commission on Disabilities has made monumental policy advancements that have had benefits for all Tacoma residents and visitors. Megan Snow brings us more.
The Tacoma Area Commission on Disabilities is an 11-member commission that focuses on policy recommendations that make Tacoma more inclusive and accessible for people who have a disability.
We have a wonderful Commission on Disabilities. We have people represented from all walks of life. We have all different types of disabilities, people who are deaf, people who are blind, people who use mobility aids, we cover it all.
The Commission continues to champion policy changes and adoption of new policy that helps remove barriers for people with disabilities.
When we're talking about closed captioning in public places, when we're thinking about having safe access in the public with electronic motor vehicles or electronic scooters and that sort of thing, when we're taking into consideration people's access to our internet at the city to make sure that it is 508 or accessible compliance with how they access and use the website with the city. I think those things are very important.
To learn more about the Commission, visit them online or call the city at 311. For Tacoma Report, I'm Megan Snow.
The city is constantly accepting applications to join any of its commissions, boards, and committees. For more information, visit them online. Tacoma Mayor Victoria Woodards will host a 2019 State of the City Address on Wednesday, March 6th at 6:30 p.m. in the University of Puget Sound Schneebeck Concert Hall. During the free community event, Mayor Woodards will speak on the theme, Tacoma, Our Destiny in Motion. Those interested in attending the event are encouraged to register by Friday, February 22nd at 3 p.m. at the city's website. Seating is limited due to venue capacity limitations. Seats are available on a first-come basis. Event-related questions or requests for special accommodations may be directed to Melanie Harding.
And finally, administrative offices at the City of Tacoma facilities will close on Monday, February 18th in observance of President's Day. The Tacoma Recovery and Transfer Center will open as normally scheduled on that day, and garbage, recycling, and yard food waste pickups will not be affected. That's all the time we have on this edition of Tacoma Report.
A great way to find out about the services the City of Tacoma has to offer is by going to cityoftacoma.org. Until next time, I'm Laura Proctor.
And I'm Angie Foster. Thanks for watching.